the mood. They thought the richest man in the country was dying, trapped in a bed and barely holding on. They were dead wrong, because they had no idea they were just playing into his hands. Beneath all that frailty, a monster was waiting to strike. The movie kicks off with Elliot and his daughter, Ridley, on their way to a high-stakes meeting. They are headed to the estate of Elliot's boss, Odell. Odell is battling terminal cancer, and he's ready to name Elliot the new vice president of the company. Elliot is beyond excited. This is the promotion of a lifetime. But the pressure is on. Odell calls Elliot, furious because they're an hour late. Elliot tries to apologize, but the stress triggers a massive sneezing fit. See, Elliot is deathly allergic to dust. In the middle of his sneezing frenzy, he loses focus on the road, and something slams into the car. When they step out to check the damage, they're hit with a sight that defies logic. Elliot didn't hit a deer or a dog, he hit a baby unicorn. The poor creature is lying there in total agony. Ridley reaches out and touches its glowing horn, and for a second, she feels like she's been transported to another world. It's peaceful and magical, until a scream snaps her back to reality. She opens her eyes to a nightmare. Her dad, Elliot, is standing over the creature with an axe. In a panic-driven attempt to hide what happened, he's mercilessly finishing the job. Ridley begs him to stop, but he's gone into full survival mode. They decide to throw the body in the car to erase any evidence of the accident. They finally arrive at Odell's mansion. Elliot goes in to meet the boss, who's looking frail. Odell tells him he's accepted his fate and believes Elliot is the only one who can lead the company into the future. Elliot immediately starts pitching business ideas, but Odell stops him. He doesn't want to talk shop yet. He wants to spend some real time with Elliot and Ridley before he goes. Meanwhile, Ridley is in the bathroom, staring at the mirror in total shock. Her face, which was covered in acne just moments ago, is now perfectly clear. It's as if the skin issues never existed. She realizes this happened because a drop of the unicorn's blood splashed onto her face. Panic sets in. She runs to her dad and whispers that they need to leave right now. But Elliot isn't going anywhere. He tells her they have to stay and play the part so he can secure his future. Suddenly, their conversation is cut short by a terrifying scream coming from outside. The sound is chilling. Everyone rushes to the driveway and finds that something has literally smashed through the window of Elliot's car from the inside. Standing there, in front of the elite security team and a dying billionaire, is the unicorn. The security guard, acting out of pure fear, opens fire on the creature. As everyone stands around in total disbelief, Ridley finally speaks up. She tells them it's not rocket science, it's exactly what it looks like. A baby unicorn. Knowing he's trapped, Elliot finally comes clean. He confesses to Odell that his car hit the creature on the way there. But Ridley pulls him aside with an even crazier detail. Dad, look at me. My acne is gone. The magic is real, and things are about to get very dark. Elliot stops and thinks back to the drive. He realizes his dust allergy, the one that caused the crash, is completely gone. Even weirder, while he was looking at the business papers with Odell, his vision went blurry. He took his glasses off and realized he could see perfectly. The unicorn blood didn't just clear Ridley's skin, it's literally fixing their bodies. Later that night, Elliot finds Ridley sitting alone, looking haunted. He asks her what she felt when she touched the unicorn's horn. Ridley looks at him and says she felt a deep, strange connection. She's starting to feel the weight of what they've done. She tells her dad that giving the unicorn to Odell's family feels wrong. It feels like they're being fueled by greed. She wants to free the creature and run, but Elliot shuts her down immediately. He's not about to let his promotion slip away over a feeling. Disgusted by his selfishness, Ridley kicks him out of the room. Left alone with her thoughts, Ridley starts looking through old family photos. Tucked behind a picture of her mother, she finds an old drawing of a unicorn. This sends her down a rabbit hole of history and legends. She learns that for centuries, kings and hunters tried to catch these creatures and failed. The only person who ever succeeded was a girl with a pure heart. She was used as bait to lure the unicorn into a trap, where it was killed and locked away in a castle as a royal slave. She reads further and discovers that after the French Revolution, the stories changed. People started portraying unicorns as monsters instead of magical beings. That night, Ridley's sleep is filled with terrifying nightmares of dark, suffocating jungles. The next morning, the hospitality at the mansion takes a clinical turn. Both Elliot and Ridley are taken in for medical testing because they've been exposed to the blood. It turns out Odell has a full-blown, high-tech science lab hidden right inside his house, and that's where the baby unicorn is being kept like a lab rat. Dr. Song, the lead scientist, gives a presentation to the group. He's blown away by what he's found. The unicorn's blood and even its song have the power to heal almost any injury. Then, Dr. Bhatia chimes in about the horns. They're emitting bioelectrical signals that defy modern science. Odell and his son give the doctors the green light to take things to the next level. They've discovered that grinding the horn into a powder might be the cure for any major disease. Since Odell is already on his deathbed with stage 4 cancer, he decides to be the first human test subject. He's got nothing left to lose. Even if the experiment goes sideways, he's ready to take the risk if it means a chance at eternal life. While the scientists are celebrating, they realize the situation is spiraling out of control. The bioelectrical signals coming from the unicorn are spiking, getting stronger by the second. Inside the mansion, Odell is feeling like a brand new man. The pain is gone, and he's convinced he's fully cured. He's so grateful that he officially calls Elliot his business partner, a dream come true for a guy like Elliot. But while Elliot is busy celebrating his new status, Odell's son notices that Ridley hasn't stopped digging into the unicorn's history. Suddenly, Odell and the medical team burst into the room with shocking news. Dr. Song confirms that in just a few hours, the stage 4 cancer has completely vanished. It's a medical miracle. Everyone is ecstatic, but Ridley looks like she's seen a ghost. Odell wasted no time. He orders Dr. Song to prep the unicorn for transport to their corporate headquarters. He wants to run every test imaginable to see how else they can monetize this creature. You see, Odell doesn't just run a business, he runs a massive pharmaceutical empire. Dr. Song drops a bombshell, though. The unicorn cells cannot be replicated or grown in a lab. But Odell's wife doesn't care. To her, limited supply just means higher demand and way more profit. They're already planning the marketing campaign. Ridley tries to warn them, clutching her research on the dark history of these creatures. She tries to tell them that 1,000 years ago, unicorns were feared as monsters. Legend says that whenever humans tried to hunt or harm them, something horrific followed. She stands her ground and tells the room full of billionaires that they need to set the creature free. The reaction? They laugh in her face. They start taunting her, and Odell shoots a cold, threatening glare at Elliot, basically telling him to get his daughter under control. Ridley realizes these people are blinded by pure greed. She warns her dad one last time, but Elliot is too addicted to the power and the promotion. He refuses to leave. In a fit of rage and disgust, Ridley storms out of the house. As she stands outside, she notices strange, unnatural lights flickering in the night sky. Meanwhile, inside the estate, the team has built a high-tech, pressurized tunnel to transport the unicorn safely. As Dr. Song and Dr. Bhatia move the creature through the tunnel, their equipment starts screaming. The bioelectrical output from the unicorn is surging past the danger zone. Before they can even react, the entire estate goes pitch black. Every light, every camera, and every electronic device on the property completely dies. The miracle cure is about to turn into a total nightmare. With the power out and the mansion in total darkness, Odell sends Elliot into the transport tunnel to find out what happened. As Elliot steps inside, he's met with a scene of absolute gore. The high-tech tunnel has been ripped open from the inside, and Dr. Song is dead, impaled through the chest by a massive horn. Out of the shadows, an adult unicorn, much larger and more terrifying than the baby, begins to emerge. Chaos erupts as the security guards open fire, their muzzle flashes lighting up the night. Outside, the unicorns have found Ridley in the car and are closing in. Elliot sprints through the gunfire and manages to pull his daughter to safety just as a unicorn prepares to charge. To save her father, Ridley steps in front of him, trying to distract the massive creature. But as the beast looms over her, the violence suddenly stops. Ridley feels that same deep, spiritual connection again. She realizes the creature has no intention of hurting her. Its horn begins to glow with a brilliant light, but before Ridley can reach out and touch it, the guards unleash a hail of bullets. Wounded and bleeding, the unicorns are forced to retreat into the darkness. Inside, the atmosphere is toxic. Odell's son is furious, screaming at Ridley for not warning them that the parents would come looking for their baby. Ridley fires back, reminding them that she tried to speak up, but they were all too blinded by money to listen. She admits that she feels a magnetic attraction to these creatures, a bond they clearly don't have. Odell's wife realizes that's why the unicorns didn't kill her. But instead of being humbled, the family gets even more dangerous. Ridley begs them to release the baby now before things get worse. But Odell's greed has reached a fever pitch. He decides they aren't just keeping the baby. They're going to hunt down and capture the injured parents too. Meanwhile, Odell's son sneaks off with Dr. Badia. They've stolen the concentrated horn powder and are now using it like a high-end drug, completely addicted to the power it provides. Disgusted by the cruelty, Ridley storms out once more. But as she looks up at the sky, she sees those strange, flickering lights again. She realizes she can't just abandon her dad to these monsters. She rushes back inside and begins piecing together the old unicorn paintings she found earlier. As she interlinks the images, she discovers a terrifying truth. These unicorns have the power to heal themselves almost instantly. The injured unicorns the guards are hunting aren't weak. They're regenerating and becoming even more dangerous. Elliot is walking straight into a slaughter. Realizing her father is in immediate or mortal danger, Ridley frantically reaches out to warn him before the forest turns into a graveyard. Elliot's phone starts buzzing, and the second he sees Ridley's name, he knows the situation is critical. But before he can even warn the group, the darkness of the woods breaks. A glowing, massive unicorn charges out of the shadows, moving with terrifying speed. It tears through a security guard like he's nothing. Odell and Elliot don't wait around. They turn and bolt for the mansion with the creature hot on their heels, goring guards left and right. In a moment of pure desperation, Odell tries to stand his ground and take control of the beast. But this isn't a business negotiation. The unicorn lunges, burying its horn deep into Odell's chest and killing the billionaire instantly. The survivors scramble inside and slam the doors shut. Elliot is in full crisis mode, shouting for everyone to stay put. They try to call for help, but the unicorns are smarter than they look. They've completely severed the phone lines and cut the power. They're trapped. The high-tech electric gates are dead, locking them inside a gilded cage. Odell's wife, cold and calculating even in a bloodbath, decides they need a sacrificial lamb. She demands that someone go outside, distract the creatures, and manually open the gates. She picks Elliot and Dr. Badia for the suicide mission. As they prep to go out, Dr. Badia pulls Elliot aside. He's carrying a safe case with a unicorn horn, and he's done playing the loyal employee. He tells Elliot that people like Odell only care about themselves, and it's time they look out for number one. Their plan: return the baby unicorn to its parents and use the chaos to vanish. Outside, the gates finally creak open. Odell's wife tries to make a run for it, but she stops when she realizes her son is still inside the house, completely zonked out on the unicorn-horned drugs. In the confusion, the adult unicorn spots Dr. Badia. It doesn't see a peacemaker, it sees a thief. It attacks, killing the doctor instantly. Elliot rushes back into the house to grab Ridley, while Odell's wife finds her son. But the boy is completely far gone. He's been staring at Ridley's research and has come to a twisted conclusion. He claims Ridley's idea to free the baby was nonsense, not because it was wrong, but because they could have used her. The legends say a pure-hearted girl is the only one who can truly control these monsters. In a fit of greed, he snatches the unicorn horn from Elliot's hand and orders them to use Ridley as bait to capture the adults. Elliot is finally hit with a wave of crushing regret. He realizes his greed has put his daughter in the crosshairs of a literal monster. He quits on the spot, but it's too late. The front doors shatter into splinters as the unicorns break into the house. The hunt is now happening indoors. Elliot and Ridley move fast, locking themselves inside a secure room as the mansion turns into a slaughterhouse. Outside, Odell's son and his mother are in a desperate standoff. His mother begs him to give the horn back to the unicorns to save their lives, but he's too far gone. His addiction to the horn powder has turned into a madness. He snatches the container from her hand, but when he rips it open, it's empty. Elliot was one step ahead. Back in the room, Ridley is shocked to see the glowing horn in her father's hand. Elliot looks at her, his eyes filled with a father's love, and tells her he stole it to give her a chance to escape. He tells her to run while he handles the rest. Ridley refuses to leave him, but Elliot insists, saying he has a promise to keep to her mother, a promise to always keep her safe. Ridley finally steps out into the night, where the massive unicorns are prowling. As they approach, the air changes. They don't attack. Instead, they sense her pure heart and kneel before her. Ridley breaks down in tears, touched by the creature's grace. But the moment of peace is shattered by Odell's son. Driven by pure greed, he crawls toward the kneeling unicorn, trying to tie its legs so he can capture it. Before he can commit another atrocity, Elliot appears. He isn't playing corporate games anymore. He lunges at the boy and stabs him with the very horn he was trying to steal, ending his greed once and for all. In a final, desperate act of malice, the boy fires a hidden arrow, piercing Elliot through the chest. In a surge of adrenaline and pain, Elliot grabs the boy and throws him aside, but the damage is done. Both men collapse. Ridley rushes to her father's side, cradling him as he takes his final, ragged breaths. Elliot passes away in her arms, and Ridley's world shatters. As she sobs over his body, the two adult unicorns lean in. They join their horns together, channeling a massive surge of ancient magical energy into Elliot. In a flash of light, the miracle happens. Elliot's eyes snap open. He's been brought back to life. The father and daughter share a tearful, passionate hug, grateful to be alive. But the nightmare isn't quite over. When the police finally arrive at the scene of the massacre, they see two survivors standing among dozens of bodies. Naturally, they arrest Elliot and Ridley, suspecting them of the murders. They try to explain the truth, but the cops aren't interested in fairy tales about magical horses. That is, until the ground begins to shake. The unicorns come charging out of the tree-land, appearing right in front of the authorities. They refuse to leave Ridley in trouble. As the police stare in total shock at the mythical creatures, the unicorns signal to Ridley and Elliot, proving their story was true all along. With the truth revealed and the bond between man and myth sealed, the movie ends. And that's the death of a unicorn, a dark lesson that greed always has a price. If you enjoyed this recap, hit like and subscribe for more. Thanks for